Coming up on The Cut.
How the government shutdown could affect airports across the country.
Teachers are pushing on ice in schools.
And tensions rise in what? You guessed it, the sport of curling at these Olympic Games.
All this and more coming up on The Cut.
The Cut starts now.
Hello and welcome to The Cut Network. I'm Brayla Burkhalter.
And I'm Leticia Natiello.
On the Munich Security Conference this weekend, tensions rose between U.S. and European leaders when EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas pushed back against criticism from the United States. Kallas rejected claims that Europe is facing what Donald Trump has described as, quote, civilizational erasure. Those concerns stem from issues including immigration policies, free speech, and trade disagreements. Kallas called the claims unfair and inaccurate, stating that many people have an interest in joining the EU. During the conference, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio took a more civilized tone than Vice President J.D. Vance did at last year's event. Rubio reaffirmed Washington's intent to maintain the transatlantic alliance, mentioning that the U.S. will always be a, quote, child of Europe. Both sides stated that they would continue to stand by their values, including differing approaches to issues like free speech, climate, and trade. Kallas emphasized the EU's efforts to push humanity forward and defend human rights. As both sides navigate differences over policy, security, and the future of Western alliances, Kallas stressed that Europe and the United States will remain connected and must continue working together despite their disagreements.
Don Lemon, previously a CNN host and currently a freelance journalist, has pleaded non-guilty to federal civil rights charges on Friday, following his attendance to a protest that took place in a Minnesota church. He claims he was present at the event on a strictly journalistic capacity. The protest broke out during a service at the Southern Baptist Church in Minnesota, with protesters chanting out, quote, ICE out and justice for Renee Good. Lemon told the press, quote, for more than 30 years I've been a journalist, and the power and protection of the First Amendment has been the underpinning of my work. The First Amendment, the freedom of the press, are the bedrock of our democracy. Lemon is just one of the 9 other people who have been charged under the 1994 Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. Among others to plead not guilty last week is civil rights attorney Nikema Levy Armstrong. Armstrong was recently one of the many subjects of the White House's use of AI-generated content, as they posted a fabricated video of her crying during her arrest. In her own hearing, Armstrong echoes Lemon's stance on free speech by stating, quote, we the people have to stand for our rights. We have to stand for the Constitution. Hundreds of protesters have gathered outside the courthouse this past week in protest of the Justice Department, many chanting, quote, protect the press and, quote, Pam Bondi has got to go. As of now, 2 more defendants await a hearing this week, as many are left wondering how the future of the free press will unfold following last week's events.
A local runner has qualified for the 2028 Summer Olympic Marathon Trials. Cut reporter Nicole Lehendro has more with the story. Nicole?
Thank you, Brayla. Although the Winter Olympics may be wrapping up in Italy, one Arizona man is already looking ahead to the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, Arizona's family reported on Friday. Joseva Kretzmann, a Hopi runner, just qualified for the 2028 Olympic Marathon running trials. Kretzmann makes history as the first Native American runner to qualify for the upcoming marathon trials. He's from the Hotavilla village on the Hopi Reservation and says his Hopi and Dene background inspires his running. Quote, running is a part of our ceremonies. Running is a part of our daily life. So I'm just glad that I can represent that and make my tribal communities proud. Kretzmann's marathon journey started just 3 years ago when he completed his first marathon, finishing as the #1 American and 6th overall. He typically runs about 90 to 100 miles a week, and to prepare for the Olympic trials, he's running about 15 to 20 miles a day. Some of the Native Olympians that have inspired him include Billy Mills, Louis Tawanama, and Jim Thorpe. He says he hopes to inspire other Indigenous youth and that dreams can come true with hard work. In his free time, Kretzmann is also a PhD student and a graduate teaching assistant at Northern Arizona University. For the Cut Network, I'm Nicole Lehendro.
Thanks, Nicole. A recent court filing addressed a lawsuit from teachers around the country challenging the Trump administration's policy allowing immigration enforcement in schools. 60 teachers attended the filing last Thursday, emphasizing the growing concern and fear for immigrant children at school. Many parents have taken their kids out of school after recent detainments, despite school grounds being off-limit areas. This fear has disrupted education and caused distress among families and young children. Their stories were shared in part to a lawsuit that was filed last year, challenging the Trump administration's new policy allowing immigration enforcement to go on school, medical, and religious properties. Federal officials say that schools should not be used as a safe zone for immigrants, but are denying that ICE is specifically targeting those institutions. Catherine Anderson, a teachers union president in Massachusetts, said immigration enforcement has been disruptive more than COVID. Anderson said, quote, "Right now, kids of all backgrounds are being prevented from going to school because of the extremely real fear that either they or their family members will be separated." Other teachers and advocates shared similar situations where one teacher said, quote, "I can no longer reassure them that campus is safe from ICE." For now, there is no final court ruling of the case, and new related legal actions are underway across the country. Teachers continue to raise their voices to protect scared youth and families.
TSA workers are going unpaid. Cut reporter Charlotte Reese has the impact of the current government shutdown on these government workers. Charlotte?
Thanks, Leticia. TSA workers across the nation are now being unpaid due to the partial shutdown. The hundreds of TSA workers at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport are expected to show up for work just 3 months after the 43-day shutdown. This shutdown, now in its 7th day, is a little bit different. Congress was unable to reach a funding deal for the Department of Homeland Security, which TSA falls under. And while TSA workers received back pay from the previous shutdown, this new one puts a strain on their income. According to the acting director for DHS, more than 1,000 TSA workers left their jobs during the last government shutdown. That was 25% more than the same time period in 2024. And while the partial shutdown hasn't impacted air travel just yet, that could quickly change, says Clint Henderson of The Points Guy. With spring break around the corner, Henderson said, an extended shutdown leads to workers becoming resentful and calling out sick. More workers not showing up for their work means more lines and more flight delays at Sky Harbor. For now, Congress is on recess for the week and are not expected to return till Monday. No funding deal for the DHS is expected to happen anytime soon. For the Cut Network, I'm Charlotte Reese. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Charlotte. Canada recently sparked controversy in the Olympics for allegedly cheating during one of their best played sports, curling. Last Friday, after winning the game against Sweden, Swedish player Oskar Eriksson accused Canadian player Mark Kennedy of double-touching the rock after its initial release. Footage of the play was released, showing a very apparent double touch from the Canadian player. Kennedy, upon hearing the claims, apparently exploded into a very public outburst. Quote, "I honestly, in that split second of a moment, I couldn't tell you if I do or do not," Kennedy said after the video footage was released. Later on Saturday, another player, Rachel Homan, was accused of the same action during a game against Switzerland. Homan claimed she was being unfairly accused because of the men's controversy. World Curling came out with a statement following the event. Quote, "During forward motion, touting the granite of the stone is not allowed. This will result in the stone being removed from the play." This event has left many Canadians feeling disappointed, since Canada is presently the #1 nation for curling. Many have felt their integrity come under scrutiny in front of a global audience, causing animosity to rise between rival competitors. All eyes remain on the team, as many anxiously await to see if they will advance in the tournament.
Now Cut anchor Ileana James has everything from blockbusters to Valentine's Day. Ileana?
Hello, I'm your host today, Ileana James. Welcome back to the entertainment segment of The Cut. Let's get right into it. Love story John F. Kennedy Jr. and Caroline Bessette was released on Hulu and Disney Plus on February 12th. John F. Kennedy Jr. is played by Paul Anthony Kelly and Caroline Bessette by Sarah Pidgeon. The anthology series, directed by Ryan Murphy, explores one of the most iconic 20th century couple and explores American royalty. They released 3 episodes and will end the series with a total of 9 episodes. According to People Exclusive, quote, "JFK Jr. was hard," Simpson says. "We were 3 weeks away from shooting and we still had not casted him. We'd seen every male actor between the age of 25 and 38. Creator Connor Hines was coming in every day with models he'd found on Instagram, sending cold emails, approaching people on the street, at the gym. Would you like to read for John? Please, we need him," end quote. Now let's move into other news for the popular TV show Stranger Things. Star Maya Hawke got married on Valentine's Day to Christian Lee Hudson in New York City. Co-stars Finn Wolfhard, Gaten Mazzarato, Kayla McLachlan, Sadie Sink, Natalia Dyer, Charlie Hean, and Joe Keery were all spotted, but Millie Bobby Brown, Noah Schnapp, and David Harbour weren't there. Reasons as to why they skipped the ceremony are unclear. Wuthering Heights premiered in theaters last Friday, starring Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff and Margot Robbie as Catherine Earnshaw. The film was co-produced and directed by Emerald Fennell, who also worked on Saltburn. Fans mentioned Emily Bronte's book was extremely different than the adaptation. Quote, "The thing for me is that you can't adapt a book as dense and complicated and difficult as this book. I can't say I'm making Wuthering Heights, it's not possible," she told Findigo. End quote. The film also featured Charlie XCX's 12-song album Wuthering Heights, making the adaptation Brat. Finally, New Heights podcast, hosted by Jason and Travis Kelce, dropped a Valentine's Day post to their social media platforms. Travis's Valentine geared towards Taylor Swift fans, saying, "Would you be my Valentine?" Many fans loved this callback to Taylor Swift's recent album, The Life of a Showgirl, expressing themes of the Eras Tour and Travis Kelce. Another Travis-themed Valentine was Be My Love Story, relating back to Taylor's sourdough era and her hit song, Love Story. That's all for the entertainment segment of the Cut Network for this week. What a good Valentine's we had. Single or not. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ileana James with the Cut Network Entertainment.
Thanks, Ileana. Now on to all things NBA with Cut Sports anchor Danny Elkery. Danny?
Thanks, Brayla. Welcome back to Sports on the Cut. Last week, the NBA continued their yearly tradition of All-Star Weekend, where they hoped to reassure the fans that the NBA's top stars could still put on a show. In recent years, fans have been aggravated at the lack of effort shown in the All-Star game, with the 2024 game reaching an all-time high score of 211 to 186. The NBA has implemented a new 3-short game format to hopefully encourage the players to play defense. In this segment, we're going to be giving you a recap of the weekend's winners, as well as some more information to keep in mind for the future. This year's All-Star Weekend took place at the Intuit Dome in California, with many players seeing their first All-Star appearance. Some players that made their debut included Nuggets guard Jamal Murray, Hawks forward Jalen Johnson, Thunder big man Chet Holmgren, and Blazers small forward Denny Avdia. These players have been lighting it up on the court in the first half of the season, and it's not gone unnoticed. Going into All-Star Weekend, many people were skeptical as to if this year's games would be as anticlimactic as the past few years have been. The fans were pleasantly surprised when Damian Lillard, a legendary shooter who's been out all season due to a torn Achilles, not only competed in the three-point contest, but won. Lillard beat Phoenix's own Devin Booker in the finals, tying a record held by Larry Bird and Craig Hodges for the most three-point contest wins in history. Moving into the Kia Shooting Stars Challenge, Team Knicks took the win over Team Cameron in the final. Team Knicks, consisting of Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and NBA legend Allen Houston, put up 47 points, outscoring Team Cameron, their team being Hornets rookie Con Knuppel, Jalen Johnson, and NBA legend Corey Maggette, who put up 38 points. The infamous NBA dunk contest, known for NBA stars showing off some of the craziest dunks media has ever seen, was actually regarded as one of the worst parts of the weekend. Fans were disappointed at the lack of creativity in the dunks, as well as the lack of stars competing. While Kashad Johnson from the Miami Heat took the win, many fans were more interested in the Dunk's former 3-time dunk contest champion, Mac McClung, posted on his Instagram prior to the competition. Looking a little bit into the future, next year's NBA All-Star Weekend takes place right here in Phoenix, Arizona, and is set to hopefully keep improving from the previous few years. Also in the NBA, the inevitable retirement of LeBron James is closer than ever, and the question people are asking is who will take over his role as the face of the NBA. The two frontrunners for the spot are Frenchman Victor Wembanyama and Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards. The issue arising is that a lot of these young stars aren't focused on taking that spot. Edwards, when asked if he would like to be the face of the league, said, open quote, "They got Wembanyama, they'll be all right," end quote. While fans were concerned about the answer given by the All-Star MVP, it's no doubt that whoever the face of the league is will be extraordinary. That's all for this segment. Be sure to tune in to more sports next week. For the Cut Network, I'm Danny Elkery.
Thanks, Danny. On to other exciting news. Larry the Cat, known as the Chief Mouser to the Cabinet Office in the UK, marks 15 years of service after serving under 6 prime ministers. Adopted in 2011, Larry quickly became a close companion, rodent catcher, and greeter around the 10 Downing Street office and residency. He's not just known among the politicians, but also many visiting international leaders. He took a liking to former U.S. President Barack Obama and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Justin Ng, a photographer, has come to know Larry and noticed his chronic photobombing skills. Ng said he's, quote, more of a lover than a fighter. He's very good at what he does, lounging around and basically showing people that he's very nonchalant. Larry continues to patrol the grounds at his old age and has become a loyal, beloved member in the UK government. I don't know about you, but my cat is not that loyal.
I agree. I feel like mine would be too lazy to be a mouse catcher. I feel like him and Larry are very similar. They just like lay down and not really do anything.
Yeah, maybe they can like learn things from each other.
Yeah.
And that is all we have this week.
Thanks for watching The Cut Network. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Cut Network. Have a nice night.